The listing of Johor Plantations is one of the biggest of 2024, and the plantation player is poised to embark on the next phase of its growth. A big piece of that will be its integrated sustainable palm oil complex, or iSPOC. But what does it actually mean for the company's growth and its sustainability goals? We asked Johor Plantations MD Mohd Faris Adli Shukery about the company's vision of what a modern planter looks like. So, of course, JPG had one of the biggest listings of 2024. It was very, very noticeable. And can you just give us an update since then, the progress of all the utilization of the proceeds, and also break down what the key focus areas are now for JPG?
From the IPO, we have started to embark on our next step of becoming an integrated player in the plantation business. This means that we're not just going to be focused on upstream, but we're also moving into downstream. For that matter, one of the main purpose of the IPO proceeds is to actually provide the capital for us to go into downstream. And for that matter, we have allocated around 172 million for that objective. But that 172 is actually covering our development of an integrated complex that will house not just the mill, but also the refinery within one location that is close to the estates as well, so that we have direct production facilities and also the processing of it into the final product.
You are talking about the integrated sustainable palm oil complex, right? That's one of the big promises I think that JPG actually made when it went listing. So can you just, for those who are maybe new to the group and to the planter, previously the focus has all been on upstream, right? The history of Johor Plantations is mostly on upstream. So how is this new complex going to change that?
Well, iSPOC is basically a fully integrated complex whereby it will house several facilities within one single site. And if you look at the components of it, you have got the palm oil mill, the specialty oils and fats refinery, the kernel crushing plant, the animal feed mill, as well as a renewable energy power plant that will be able to serve the needs and requirements of power that is needed for all these four facilities. In relation to iSPOC itself, is about the production of high quality, traceable specialty oils and fats that is produced from one single source that is traceable and identifiable in terms of origin. I think that sets it as a benchmark in terms of what we can produce and offer to the world today. And in that regard, it's about us being able to offer a product that has contribution in terms of reducing carbon emissions, as well as producing something that is highly traceable and highly sustainable for us to offer to the market.
Okay, so what's the progress then at this point?
At this moment, we have already started our work on the ground, but of course, the project itself commenced much earlier by virtue of the fact that we had inked a joint venture agreement with Fuji Oil Asia to come in as our JV partner for the downstream segment. And pursuant to that, we have also appointed the project management consortium for the purpose of development of iSPOC. And at the same time, we've also started our earthworks and main infrastructure by virtue of the appointment of the contractor in December 2024. So if you were to go on site, you would see that everything has started to gather pace. And soon enough, we'll be also appointing other contractors for the purpose of developing the complex itself, including the refinery, the mill, the power plant, as well as the crushing plant.
Located in the Pasir Logo estate in Kota Tinggi, Mohd Faris says that iSPOC is on track to be completed by the second half of 2026. The current target for commissioning is the third quarter of 2026. He explains that the ultimate goal for JPG is to move beyond just crude palm oil production to high-margin specialty products. This will help the planter to mitigate market risks that come with fluctuating CPO prices and provide it a more stable revenue stream. But beyond just the benefits to the company, JPG is also cognizant of the communities around its plantations. iSPOC, he says, will drive economic growth and create job opportunities. In fact, 215 positions have already been identified for local workers. Johor is poised to have a big 2025 with announcements such as the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone frothing up investor interest. But for JPG, its commitment also goes beyond that, given its deep ties to the state.
If you look at JPG, we are owned by Corp. And in that case, we're also primarily located in Johor. So we do have a responsibility for the development of the state, as we also aligned with the aspirations of our shareholder.
And I think for Johor as a state, it will be and has been a very busy year with all the announcements that are coming up in terms of development. And most importantly, of course, is the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone. So for company like Johor Plantations, like JPG, how do you react to this news of this new special zone? And how do you feel it'll benefit not only the state, but Johor Plantations as well?
We do have some land banks within the JSSEZ zone, but I'd rather talk about our focus. Our focus is in terms of plantation, and the focus is about production of food ingredients as well as renewable energy. But if you look at it from our point of view, other than the potential of us optimizing on the value of our land bank, we also would enjoy the spillover effects of JSSEZ. So in this case, if you relate it to iSPOC, for example, given that there will be talents coming in, there will be investments coming into JSSEZ with Kota Tinggi, which is where we're locating the iSPOC complex, definitely we'll be able to leverage on that kind of influx, not just in terms of capital, but even in terms of talent and technology that will be coming in.
I've spoken to a few analysts as well, and they are saying that this year is still going to be fairly solid for CPO. As somebody who is in plantations, are we keeping that timeline? It's going to be the same as last year? Just to give an idea of where you are in your growth path.
Yes, we are. We do believe that when you look at the edible oils market, it has its challenges. Although people say that it's back to normal in terms of production, I guess one thing that we also have to realize, there's also growth in demand as well. And if you look at palm oil, there are challenges, especially with regards to the climate. And at the same time, there's also the issue of industrial development or residential development that eats into the areas that are being used for plantations. So there will be a reduction of plantation areas, and at the same time, climatic conditions that will be a challenge in terms of repeating the same production. So I would say that we'll be having some issues in terms of meeting the demand, and that will bode well for us by virtue of the fact that prices should sustain, at the very least, based on what we have seen for the past few years, and may even be better later on.
Breaking down JPG by the numbers, it currently owns 23 palm oil estates, where 22 of those estates are in Johor, and the last one sits in Pahang. It is also proud of the fact that 100% of its estates are RSPO certified. Aside from iSPOC, the planter continues to look to the future as its 100th year anniversary sits on the horizon, and, to no surprise, that future includes a number of sustainability measures, something that is necessary because there is no running away from the criticisms often leveled at CPO producers for not having the cleanest of green records. The good news is that a lot of planters, JPG included, do appear to be adapting to the changing times. You did mention, of course, renewable energy aspect of it, and actually most plantation companies have been doing that in general with the waste products and everything. Will it become part of Johor Plantation's business, like how some of your peers have done it? Or is it going to be, it serves our bigger purpose of like, we are still a plantation company, this is still what we're going to do?
I believe that in JPG's context, renewable energy is a combination of both. It sort of contributes to our top line and bottom line. At the same time, it also serves a bigger purpose. The reason for that is because we're looking at optimizing the waste that we produce. And for that matter, rather than use it for selling to external parties. We'll be using for our own requirements, and potentially we'll be able to leverage on other developments within the state, because as you probably know that there is a lot of demand for energy today.
What role does JPG envision in driving industrial growth and innovation to support this zone? What role do you think you can play?
Today, we also building on that strength in agriculture and marrying it together with sustainability. And sustainability has always been a forte of ours as well, given that Kulim is one of the founders of RSPO. And I think now is about not just espousing the attributes of sustainability and the technicalities of agriculture, but it's also portraying how industry can leverage on both the strengths of agriculture and sustainability, and putting it in a local context, especially in terms of developing a complex that produces locally before it gets exported. What we believe is that Kulim started in 1933. In 2033, we'll be 100 years old as a company. So we got a 10-year roadmap that defines our growth within a 10-year time span that will sort of look at towards at least doubling what we're getting today.